Most people these days that try to generate clients using LinkedIn do it the same old boring and ineffective way. Specifically, they're just sending out a bunch of spammy, annoying messages that most prospects do not like. And not only does this not generate you really any meetings at all, it might even get you banned on the platform because people just report you for spam. So in this video, I'll be sharing with you exactly the new way that actually works to get people to raise their hands and be interested enough to book a call with you. In case you don't know who I am, my name is Lloyd Yip. I'm the founder of Attract and Scale. Last several years, I've actually generated hundreds of thousands of dollars on LinkedIn for my own business, as well as for businesses that I've actually worked with in the past. In fact, I was the director of sales at a company that scaled from 0 to 2.5 million in just 18 months, and a big lead channel of ours was in fact LinkedIn. So let me move to my screen share right now so I can walk you through some of the tactics that I've noticed working best. All right, so why don't we just first off go into a couple messages that are frankly just poorly executed and 100% will not work today, and then we'll go into what should be done instead. But sorry to put you guys on blast, by the way. Joseph, I'm gonna start off with you. It's not that this message is so bad. I've seen many worse, but the idea is that you don't want to just be starting out right out of the gate pitching. When you don't know who someone is, when they are a complete stranger, they're going to be skeptical, especially if you're selling to a sophisticated market. And oftentimes on LinkedIn, you're selling to a B2B audience. These people get pitched all the time. So if you just give them some sort of sales pitch where you're saying, oh, I do all these amazing things, but you have essentially no evidence behind your claims, you're just going to be yet another person who makes a lot of big promises but likely doesn't deliver, right? And these CEOs or CMOs or VPs or managers, they're too busy to respond to a message like this where you're pretty much just trying to go for the kill right out of the gate. So this doesn't work. I mean, Paul here is even worse, right? At least Joseph, he was concise in his sales pitch. It was very pitchy, but at least it was concise. Look at this essay that Paul is writing to me. It's like an entire landing page worth of text, and it's something which is totally irrelevant to me. It's super salesy. There's no way anyone ever responds to this type of stuff. So I would highly recommend that either Paul or Joseph's approach you do not take, all right? Now, the question is, if you're not gonna be taking this approach, what would you be taking instead? Here's a few examples, right? So here's actually a conversation that I had with Emma, and we more or less reached out to her and we started asking questions. And this is going to be the biggest thing that you're going to notice about the way that we sell on LinkedIn internally and why we're able to make it work is because we're taking much more of a conversational based approach where by asking questions and by understanding about their business and situation more, we're able to accomplish a couple things. First, we're able to build more trust and rapport because we're trying to actually get to know someone, but we're also able to figure out what their biggest pain points are because that's what you get to do when you ask questions. You get to figure out their pain points. And it's utilizing those pain points that allow you to be able to give them a tailored pitch where you can say, hey, you know what? Since you're struggling with this pain point that you have, then why don't I jump on a call and I can share with you a solution, right? So in this case, we actually start asking her, okay, so are you selling for the most part high ticket offers? And they're selling a B2B agency offer. And now we're starting to dig a little bit more. We're starting to probe. We're starting to discover. We're trying to figure out, where are they normally getting their results from? Are they even getting results, right? So asking here about their strategy. And then afterwards, it's going to be a matter of just trying to figure out, okay, since this is what it is that you're doing at the moment, how is that working for you? Is there an area of improvement? Do you find that there's any obstacles or problems that you have at the moment? So I'm not going to make you read through this entire conversation, but that's kind of the point of this. We're starting to have a dialogue. We're trying to figure out a bit more about what their back-end process is and then identify if there's any issues related to that. And then once we figured out, oh, these people have actually not automated the setting portion of their business development. They're still doing it very manually. That's when we think that we have a bit of a hook with them, right? Because the problem is if you don't have an appointment setter in your business, then you're likely still either over relying on automation or you're probably just not managing a lot of the conversations, and a lot of those deals just kind of slip through the cracks, right? So here we're able to actually identify that, and we're able to pretty much talk a little bit more about, hey, this is in fact the service that we offer. Here's the benefit that goes into that. And eventually we're able to pretty much get her to say, yeah, you know what? I'd be pretty keen to learn more. And in particular, because our offering is partially helping people build out these appointment setter teams, she's really impressed by the fact that this was in fact one of our appointment setters managing this entire conversation for us. So it really just goes to show that the ability for a setter to be able to be super personalized and be able to manage these conversations, it's what allows you to actually generate results when it comes to messenger sales. And this is so different from what the examples were that I showed before with Joseph or Paul, where they're not really trying to have any sort of conversation. They're just trying to pitch right away, and it does not work. So we're able to book the meeting, and we even like confess, yeah, like my setter, her name is Lavon. She's been handling all these conversations, and really it just like blows Emma's mind because it makes her understand, wow, this thing could be super scalable, right? Now, moving on, like another example would be Leora here. And we, in the same way, kind of like cold message her, and she doesn't really know anything about us. So another method that you can have beyond just trying to have a conversation, because once again, we're trying to gain trust, we're trying to build credibility, and without doing so, it's really hard for people to actually commit to spending 30 minutes with you on, say, like a demo call, right? So here, we're able to figure out via the same questions in the discovery process, oh, like you're trying to go after C-suite execs. I imagine LinkedIn is a pretty powerful marketing channel for you, right? Yes, it is. So she's more or less saying she wants to figure out a better way to access some of these like ideal buyers on this platform. So what we do, instead of just trying to pitch her into a call right away, we'll actually send her some content, try to show her, you know what, like we're pretty good at what we do here. We have like a video that has like almost 20,000 views. It talks about LinkedIn outreach, and like this is something that if you were to deploy in your business would be pretty valuable and pretty efficient as well. So because we're able to add value and not just try to pitch right out of the gate, like if you scroll down, she even starts asking things like, oh, what do you charge for your services? Like, how do you typically help people? So this is like a much better way to gain that trust and credibility factor that frankly most people are just missing when it comes to their LinkedIn outreach or their outreach across the board in general. So here's like the picture that I want to paint for you. So the system that you want to be deploying here is, yes, you want to do LinkedIn outreach at scale. And the way that you would do this at scale is not just having an automation tool, which would allow you to obviously send out more messages per account with less time, but you can even have multiple accounts. I know many people who actually are running like 3, 4, or 5 LinkedIn accounts simultaneously to widen the total amount of real estate that they can cover, right? But like, here's the biggest thing. The outreach doesn't necessarily go straight to the call. Sometimes it can, right? Like in the situation of Emma, we didn't really need to send her any content. The setter was just good enough that they could pretty much get the person who's in the conversation all the way to a call by just having like good discovery and good follow through. But then you want to make sure that the outreach, if the situation is that the setter feels that the prospect just needs a little bit more trust built, then yeah, the content is really where it would come in, and then the content might be the reason why someone ends up booking a call. And then you can actually see here, like this is one of the reasons why the setter system works so well, because when we can actually automate and delegate this entire process, we're able to significantly amplify the amount of meetings that we can book. And you can even see, like in the month of June, our setters were booking on average like 10 to 20 calls every single week. And it's amazing because when you're able to have like the setters who are hyper efficient and they also follow up because your tracking in the back end is really solid and they know exactly who they're trying to go after, they know exactly who they should be following up with so that they understand how to actually book as many meetings as they can, then you will have this like efficient system that generally just creates a lot of results, and you can start to remove yourself in the business development process, which allows you to obviously see more success and operate your business more like a CEO rather than like an employee inside your own organization. So I mean, if you're kind of curious to learn more about appointment setters, because obviously that was like a big theme of today's conversation, then just click on one of these corners above and I'll have a recommended video that walks you through a bit, and I'll actually have another video that'll share with you a little bit more detail about how to actually find an appointment setter, how to hire them, and all that type of good stuff. So with that being said, hopefully this was valuable to you. Book a call with me down below if you're trying to build out just like more efficient growth processes for your own business, whether you're a coach, consultant, agency owner, if you're trying to flood your calendar with more meetings and you want to systematize things by having more automations, by having like setters that could obviously get people all the way to the bottom of the funnel. That's what we do. So book a call with me down below. And if you don't really want to do that, that's cool as well. We have some more recommended videos up top that you can check out on your path. All right. So with that being said, have a good one. Cheers.